we had the RBA decision, we had the NFP fallout, and we have elections outcoming. And of course, I'm going to give it some currency projections, as I always do in the end of the webinar. So basically, RBA has paused the rates, and you know, we've seen Australian dollar trading higher at the moment than before the release. So since we have the release to now, we've seen Aussie dollar trading higher. And will that, you know, continue to be as these, or will we see a reversal, and that's a good opportunity for us to sell the Australian dollar? So that's what we're going to be looking today. We're going to be diving into the actual RBA rate segment as well. So, you know, take your notes, take your pen, because it's going to be really important for the whole year, for the whole end of this year, okay, for the last month and a half we have. Second, NFP surprises everyone, all right? How will this influence the US dollar? We've had yesterday the opening of the US dollar with a huge gap to the downside. If I'm not wrong, I can't remember now how big was this gap, but let me check here. It's in front of me. That was a really big gap. So we had a gap of 0.37% on the DXY. It's the DXY, it's an index. So yes, 0.37%. It is a big gap. Usually we have gaps of like 0.05, 0.06, not something like 0.4 as we had at the Monday, starting of the Monday. And why did that happen, right? It's not only because of the NFP, it's of course because of elections coming up and who will win the election, okay? We have, of course, Trump against Harris. I've been talking about that for ages, and I will continue to talk because it's a very important topic for you guys to understand that it is today. We know we're starting today at 9 p.m. They're starting to vote today at 9 p.m. It's very confusing how USA works in terms of elections, but I will try to, you know, give an overall view of who I think I will win. The actual answer, who will win the elections, we don't know. We will only know by maybe tomorrow afternoon, or even it can go for days and days, you know, because they can try to contest the votes again, they contest the vote again and again and again and again. So it can go forever, pretty much until January, February next year. No, most likely until January. We can't go over January, if I'm not wrong. I'm not from USA, so I don't know. I should, but I'm not that in depth of elections on US. So that's another topic we're going to be looking like, and then afterwards we're going to be jumping on the charts and analyzing Euro dollar, Aussie dollar, and gold. All right, my three favorites of the week ahead. So before we even start and go anywhere, guys, please just read the risk disclaimer, and once everyone is ready, we should proceed. So guys, please get your notebooks, because it's going to be full of really nice and good things for us. Okay, so if you just type RBA, let's just start with the RBA pausing the rates. So if you just type RBA rate statement on Google and you click on monetary policy decision, you're going to be coming to this page. If you click on here, you come to this page, and I will send the link to everyone so we don't be lost. So RBA rate statement. There we go. Perfect. So so RBA 5th of November has paused the rates, and we do have some things I want to talk about, especially, you know, in some very important topics. The interest rates, the persistent underlying inflation, as well as the labor market conditions, consumer spending uncertainties, and the global economic uncertainties, and the focus on the inflation. Okay, so I think this will be the most important topics we're going to be covering today. If you guys have any questions, please do ask the questions on the chat, because the chat is here, it's open for everyone. You can ask the questions anytime. Okay. In the end, of course, I'll be answering everyone's question. But if you have any question during the actual webinar, don't mind, just ask the question. I have 4 screens in front of me. I will definitely look at your question. Okay. All right, let's get it. First thing, underlying inflation remains too high. Okay, well, of course, at its meeting today, the board decided to leave the cash rate target at 4.35% and interest rates paid on exchange settlement balances and change at 4.25%. So that's no news for everyone. I think everyone knows that already. But what actually matters is the underlying inflation remains too high. So the emphasis that they've put, all right, first thing on the rate segment already, talking about the inflation and the sustainability returning and the sustainability of them to trying to return the inflation to target suggests that the board is prioritizing the price stability over economic growth at this moment. Okay, so what I think is that in a few months ago they were trying to do 2 things at the same time. They were trying to grow the economy at the same time as they were trying to reduce the inflation by tightening the monetary policy. Now that they have tightened the monetary policy into sufficient restrictive levels, they have to continue to maintain that monetary policy into those levels until further, we have some gear down on the inflation. But this is exactly what I was talking about today's video. Okay, if it's very nice for you guys to be watching the YouTube video. We post videos every day on the channel ACY Securities, and let me send the link to the channel right here. So where's my chat again? ACY YouTube. Here is the YouTube, and the video I'm talking about is this one here. I'm going to send video sent as well on the chat, but this is the video I'm talking about. Okay, RBA rate decision basically sells $3 billion worth of Amazon shares and US election awaits. So we've had once we finish here, you guys can come and watch this video. It's really interesting. Okay, coming back here. As I was saying, so the underlying inflation remains too high. And that's exactly what I think in my perspective. They've tried to they've tried to fight, all right, 2 things at the same time, 2 monsters at the same time, trying to raise economic growth in a sense and trying to diminish the inflation. What they couldn't, okay? The thing that it's very important here that everyone was, so happy about it and etc was because inflation has come down since 2021 or since 2022, and we've had a look at that. Inflation came down to levels that we haven't seen since 2021 to 2022. Now that's the normal inflation. Okay, the actual core inflation continues to be higher, above 3%. We need to bring that back down to 2%. Okay, so don't forget, right, that we need this inflation to go back lower to 2%. Now, the outlook remains highly uncertainty. Okay. Yes, of course. We have a consumer spending, the consumer spending uncertainties. They've acknowledged that the risks regarding the household consumption and the potential for a lower than expected recovery further underscores the cautious outlook for the consumer spending. And of course, the labor market conditions, have some positive signs in the labor market. We had such as employment growth, increase in the unemployment rate, and the mention of a tight labor conditions as well. It's suggesting some underlying weakness. Okay. A high participation rate does not necessarily indicate robust economic health. Okay, it shows to us that yes, they're fighting until the end as they possibly would, but it doesn't show to us that they're actually done with the game. Okay, that's the most important part. We need to understand that continue to fight is one thing. Now, fighting to the end is another thing. Okay, so we don't need to read all of this. I've just mentioned it for you. Now, the sustainability returning inflation to target is the priority. So sustainability returning inflation to target with reasonable time frame remains the board's highest priority. This is consistent with RBA's mandate for price stability and full employment. To date, longer-term inflation expectations have been consistent with the inflation target, and it's important that this remains the case. So as I was saying, feels like that right now they're trying to control inflation rather than trying to give a growth to the economy. Okay, because if we think about it, a few months ago they were trying to do both, and right now they can't because we're already on sufficient, very sufficient, I would say. There's no need to hike any further than that. We already hiked. Okay, so from there, the only thing we need to control now is the inflation, bringing the core CPI lower. Okay, because the core CPI excludes the food and energy prices that are the most volatile items on the CPI, on the basket of the consumer price index, that actually make some effort. If we took them off, we will see what actually the IBA has been done. Of course, inflation was all the way to 8%, and now it's down to 2%, counting with food and energy prices. Okay, but continuing, we need just to understand how they will do that. Basically, we've seen so much incentives of the central bank giving stimulus to the economy, and now we've seen them not giving the stimulus to the economy anymore. So basically, they don't want that the population continue to spend. Okay, and they've took it off the spending. They took it off the incentives from to the society, and now they're reducing the actual stimulus of spending for the society. All right. So pretty much that was all, okay, for the statement by the Reserve Bank Board Monetary Policy Decision. Of course, the weak economic growth, that is very important. As you read through the report, you will understand that highlights some weak growth in output and the impact of restrictive financial conditions on the household consumption. As I was just saying, we've seen, even Woolies have done I think it was two weeks ago, maximum 2 weeks ago, 1 week and a half ago, we've seen Woolies come into the media and say that, yes, we are. I don't have the article in front of me, but I can search it up and send it on Telegram. They were saying that, yes, we've seen some diminishing reduction on purchases from household. That means very simple to us. Okay, there's no real secret behind that. If people are not spending, they don't have money, and therefore, if they have money, it's on the savings account because they think something big is going to happen. Okay, that's how normal economics work. Now, if we think into a modern perspective, most likely those people may be saving up to buy property because property can, come to be cheaper, and once the rates continue to cut. But, that's another big question. When will the rates cut? We're going to get that in a second. Now, and now just talking about the persistent underlying inflation. So despite the reduction in the headline inflation, as I was talking, the underlying inflation rate remains at 3.5%, which is above the target range at the midpoint of 2.5, suggesting to us that the inflationary pressures are still present and that the economy is not yet operating within the desired stability. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to talk about it. Now, with all of these on our minds, when will RBA cut? Well, we can have a look at prime market terminal tool of the overnight swap rates. Let me just log in because I always log in, but then I think it logged me out after a few minutes when I'm not using it. But I have it here. Don't worry, it's all good. Let me just bring to us. Let me put it here. It's coming here and okay. So basically, this is what I'm showing to everyone is the RBA rate tracker. Okay. So let me just change to Reserve Bank of Australia. So we can clearly see right here that if it loads, There you go. We can clearly see that the next expected move is to hold, okay, and that the next meeting is on the 10th of December 2024. The current rate is 4.35%, and the probability 4.35%, and the probability of the hold actually happen on the next move on the next meeting is 84%. Okay. So we see that we won't have much happening until February. Okay, from December to February is that where we're gonna may have a 5 basis point cut, but that doesn't look very good for me. Yeah, there we go, a 25 basis point cut right here. We can see that from 34 all the way to 17, they're expecting it to be 434, 430, 425, 417. That's somewhere around here. They are expecting a 25 basis points cut on January, February, April, somewhere around April. Okay, so there you have it. Most likely on the second quarter of 2025 is when we're going to have a change on the monetary policy of RBA. Okay, so this of course will weakness a lot the Australian dollar, and we will see how the election will unfold this week if we get a result. You know, as I was saying, we don't know, but it would be really great if we can have a result already to start 2025 with you know, with the right mindset on mind. Okay, cool. Next topic. So as we know, the NFT had surprised us. Okay, so let me just show you guys FinLogix again. So very easy to go into FinLogix economic calendar. Just go into Google and type finlogix.com and then click enter. I'm going to send the link here for everyone, of course. I'm going to send it to. Why is it not going? There we go. Perfect. Finlogix.com. I will send the link to everyone. You can go into tools, economic calendar, click in there, and that's where you're going to be at. So as I was talking about NFT last week, where is it? There we go. Perfect. So I just selected the 1st of November right here, Friday to today. And I only want medium and high volatility, and I only want USA. Okay, and that we have it already. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's exactly what I want. So we can see right here the NFP, the unemployment rate, and the average hourly earnings month over month. Okay, so let's have a let's analyze all of those together. I really don't know when we saw such low numbers like that contacted for this month after pandemic. All right, I'm just browsing right now. You guys can see here that the smaller numbers was 20K. Okay, on the 9th of March of 2019. Right. Before than that, we had negative 33,000. Of course, I'm not talking about negative. I'm talking about still positive, but lower than what was expected. Okay, so really, really interesting. I think the lowest number I've been seen here. I don't want to go all the way down as well, but it's 20K, and it was expected 180,000. Okay, and there we have it. Last Friday, we've had a 12,000 new additions of job from a forecast of 113,000 and the previous of 223,000. So it's pretty much 111,000 below the forecast. Okay, that's really bad. If we look at the DXY, as I was saying to everyone before, we can see a huge gap here on the opening on Monday. Okay. Can you come in a sec? Yeah. from here to here. That is 0.4%. Okay. So 0.4% of a gap. It's huge. I haven't seen that in a while on US dollar, and we can actually look at it, right? No gaps at all. No gaps at all. Right here, we got one on June. But yeah, look, nothing, another one here, but it's a small, nothing huge since January this year. Okay, so pretty much coming back all the way to the start of the year, we haven't seen such a huge gap on that. So what does that means to the US dollar? Will the US dollar continue to strengthen? Will the US dollar continue to weaken? How will this change the perception of the traders and the banks and the participants on the market through the US dollar? Well, we're going to get there in a second. But second thing I want to analyze as well is the unemployment rate, maintaining at 4.1%. So on the expectation of the Federal Reserve, I don't know if you guys remember, but we've had an analysis for maybe a month ago where we've had it. All right, I don't have it here, but let's just bring it up. So Fed, what was the name? Economic projections. Economic projections, summary of economic projections. That was in September, yeah, so 2 months ago. Unemployment rate is expected to be in 2024 between 4.4 to 4. Okay, maximum to be 4.4%. All right, that's the median. All right, the central tendency is at 4.4, 4.3 to 4.4. To 2025, 4.2 to 4.5, 2026, 4.0 to 4.4, 2027, 4 to 4.4. And the longer run, they're expecting 3.9 to 4.3. Okay. And the range is 4.2 to 4.5, 4.2, 4.7, 3.9, 4.5, 3.8, 4.5, and then 3.5, 4.5. So I'm going to send the link to these economic projections. It's really in depth, of course. It's done by the central bank. You guys can read it later on your own. So Fed economic projections. I've sent on the webinar chat. Okay. So as I was saying, it maintains its stills at the projection of the Fed between 4.1 to 4.2, 4.4 for this year, right? 2024. Next year, 2025, looking to lower than 4.2 would be great. It's still very high. Okay. Of course, central bank continues to say it's not high, but in my perspective, it is pretty high. Okay. We haven't had such a big period of that since July this year into 4, right? Before that, we were below 4. Before 2021 was COVID, and here was all COVID. But still, I believe that the normality for the unemployment rate is between 3.8 to 3.6, right? On USA. So when we have 4% higher than that, that's pretty cautious that we need to be looking at it, right? And the last but not least, the average hourly earnings month over month came in higher, all right? It didn't help much. It was a mixed data, but didn't help much. We see 0.4%, the actual from the forecast of 0.2% and the previous 0.3. So they were expecting no changes, but actually came into 0.1% higher than what was forecasted. So that's good. In a sense, it's good, but not with these 12,000 addition of new jobs. Okay, so that's really not great. Satish asks, why webinar links not working? Satish, first of all, I've most likely it was you that came into the support. So thank you so much for taking the time and actually, coming to the support, ask for the link. Just so you know, we send the link every Tuesday, every webinar day on the Telegram. So if you're not on the Telegram, I would highly suggest you to enter on the Telegram. I will send the link at the chat here on the Zoom call, so you can join at the Telegram. So Telegram. There you go. Sorry. Telegram. Perfect. Telegram. Telegram link is on the chat. So for those who are not on the Telegram link, please join, because I do send the webinar link every Tuesday and Thursdays in there. And now going forward, we're going to be looking on Wednesdays as well. Okay. Thank you, Satish. But I will, of course, talk to my team, because it should be working from inside of the portal, of the client portal. All right. Thanks for letting us know about it. Okay, so coming back here, 12,000 addition of jobs, 111,000 lower than what was forecasted. Really, really not great. Right. So how will this influence the US dollar? I think, to be very honest with everyone, we do have some take. The US dollar do have some take. Sorry, the NFP do have some take on the actual downturn here on the opening on Monday. But the actual thing that is going around this week is the elections. Okay, everyone is gearing up for elections. Everyone is very, very eye-opening for the election, and not only for the NFP, and not only for the Fed. Yes, the Fed, of course, we're going to have the Fed this week. We're going to be discussing the Fed more tomorrow and Thursday. So for those who don't know, we are having webinars now from Wednesdays and Thursdays. So be ready. We'll be sending the link as well on the Telegram once we start tomorrow at 5 to 6 p.m. Same time, same thing. Okay. But I think that there's more than actual just the NFP. I think we have the elections coming up, and that's what will be really, really important to us to be, paying attention, putting our focus and on energy on it. Now, how should we trade it? I'm going to be discussing in a minute. So how will the NFP influence the US dollar? Of course, negatively. All right. Carrying on a election, maybe we have Kamala Harris winning the election, that would be very negative as well for the US dollar. If you haven't yet, look at the YouTube reports that we have from the webinar. We'll send the link in a chat in a minute. So I've discussed a lot, very, very briefly here, so we don't waste much time on that. But I've discussed about what would happen if Kamala Harris wins, or what would happen with Trump wins, with the US dollar, with the US economy in general. Most likely, very general, if Trump wins, we have a stronger US dollar. If Kamala Harris wins, we have a very weak US dollar. I'm unfortunately believing that actually Kamala Harris will win. Not trying to take any side of politics here, but the pools, when we look at, let's say, Poly Market, I've come to this website 1,000 times. I'll send the link to everyone as well. Poly Markets. Done. So when we look at Poly Markets, it's a $3,280,790,638. Pool that is pretty huge. We're looking at Donald Trump with 60.1% chance of win, and Kamala Harris with 40% of chances of winning. Donald Trump is pretty much with 1,285,563,000, and Kamala Harris is with only 806 million. So below the billion of Donald Trump. But that's the whole thing, right? I think when I look to these, and when we come back down here to top holders, I can see that, I don't know who it is, but ZXGNGL is looking at 28 million shares, is holding 28 million shares. This other guy here, Freddie, is holding 21 million shares. This other guy is 13 million. This other one is 13 million, 6 million, 5 million, 5 million, 5, 5, 4, and then only 3 million here. Okay. So we have pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people holding much more shares than actually the no holders. Okay, no holders is Kamala Harris, yes holders is Donald Trump. So Kamala Harris is only with 3 million, 2 million, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 1 million, less than a million, and so on. So really interesting how this works. But coming back to here, we can see it from 1 week time. We had this huge, Donald Trump was with 66.4 and Kamala Harris was 33.7 on Friday. On Friday was, yeah, all right. 65 against 35. So that was what Kamala Harris Donald Trump was. And then once we open on November 3rd, okay, Donald Trump dropped all the way down to 53 and Kamala Harris was 46.3. So that is why another reason why the US dollar has dropped very significantly on the Monday open, okay, on November 3rd. That's my take, and I do believe we will continue to see a weaker US dollar, okay, especially with this data set that we're having from the from USA, very weak data set we're having from there. Now, with that comes the question, who will win the elections of 2024? Well, we are on the final days of 2024 presidential race. I have a really nice website I want to show you guys later, but just get out a bit of information. Pollsters are releasing in the last predictions, giving us some mixed set of results. For example, Marista College final polls across Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin put Vice President Kamala Harris is slightly ahead. But all the resources like the Echelon Insights and the CNN SSRS have shown former President Trump leading in some states. With each candidate now nearly tied, Harris with a slightly edge in 538 forecast. The race is incredibly close, okay? Currently, Harris has 50% chance of winning, with Trump behind a 49% chance of winning. However, it's a crucial takeaway, all right? There's something that we need to make very clear for everyone. The polls doesn't guarantee the outcome will match the final actually result, right? So, in fact, the 538, let me just open the 538 here for everyone. There we go. Sorry, let me just come back. USA. I have it here. Sorry. There we go. Perfect. All right. So this is what we got at the moment. All right. So this is Kamala Harris, and this is Trump wins. Pretty much no winners at the middle. Right. It's very, very similar. Very, very similar. Trump may have some 2 to 3 points more, but if we look at here, Trump has 1, and then Kamala Harris 1, 2, 3, and then Trump 2, Kamala Harris 4, 5, and then Trump and then Trump 3, and Harris 6. So 6 against 3. Pretty much it's very close, right? Each swing state would still shift due to typical polling errors. So the forecast isn't about calling the winner, right? We need to understand that. I'm not saying that this Kamala Harris will win, and this is what it's showing. This is what will be showing on the actual winner. So don't take this as a 100% thing, right? We don't know yet, right? Something can happen, I don't know, anything can possibly happen on the day of the election. So it's about showing that those pools, it's about showing the likelihood based on various factors like economic conditions, state leanings, the power of incumbency. So in the end of the line, basically, this is about probability. Okay, it's not certainties. And it's we've seen in the past elections, even a small shift in swing states can yield unexpected results. So while pools suggest that a tight race, we must remain open to range of possibility outcomes that can happen on the actual day, right? So right here we have Harris winning. Right here we have Trump winning. Again, it's probabilities. We need to see how this will play on the day. Now, Satish asks, when will be the final election result comes out? Well, there is no actual date for it, all right? Of course, they plan to release in a actual day. Let me just give a sip of water. But there's no actual date and time, because let's say, as far as I know, on the US, it can happen like that, right? Let's say me and Satish disputing for the race. I have 50% of the votes and Satish has, 49% of the votes and Satish has 51% of the votes. Ultimately, Satish is winning, right? But then I think that this is wrong. I think we should count again. I can raise a petition, let's say like that. I can contest and then ask for they count the votes again. And if my contest gets approved, then this is what will happen. All right. But then I come in with 51 and now Satish comes in with 49. And then Satish thinks like, no, this is wrong, man. Come on. I was winning first. Let's contest this again. So it can go until January. All right. Maybe it can go into January, or it can be simple and easy as everyone wants to. And it can be this week. All right. It can be maybe Thursday for Australia time. So bear in mind, this could happen. Now, the one thing and the most important thing is when the volatility will actually impact the market is right at the beginning. All right. Right at the beginning, they start to count the votes. So this would be tomorrow for us in Australia. Most likely tomorrow. Yeah, most likely on Wednesday for Australia around noon. So be ready, because there's a lot of volatility to come. And even while they are pulling out the votes, because there's so much expectations around who is going to win this race, that when Kamala Harris start to pull out a bit more than Trump, US dollar may be weakening, and then Trump gets ahead, US dollar starts to strengthen. Kamala Harris gets ahead, US dollar starts to weaken. So it's going to be a really, really volatile market. Okay, most likely we will see these already coming tomorrow or Thursday next. Now, my last topic, as we drive to the end of the presentation, we've talked about the RBA has paused the rates, what it means for the Australian dollar. The NFP surprises everyone. How will this influence the US dollar? The elections coming up, who will win? We've just discussed about it. And now Euro dollar, Aussie dollar, and gold. So let's go into FinLogix again. Right. Into FinLogix, click on chart. And I want to show something really, really nice for everyone here. Actually, let me show this right now before we go any further. Just finlogix.com. Okay. If you come to finlogix.com, I've sent the link. I've sent the link on the webinar, on the chat. You guys can just scroll down here. Right here, we have latest idea. If you click on latest ideas, you can see that I've posted some trades. Just wait to load. I've posted some trades. I've posted 2 trades today. I'm short USD CHF and I'm long GBP CAD. I'm short NZD JPY yesterday. I longed Euro CHF yesterday and I've longed GBP CHF yesterday. I've long US dollar CAD on November 1st, so Friday. I've long US dollar JPY. I've long Euro dollar, okay, and I've short Aussie dollar. So I'm always here every day posting those free trades so everyone can, get some idea of what I'm looking at. So let's say you want to trade with me, and you want to look at short USD CHF. You can just click on here, and then this page will open. And then right here, you can see that I have 3 lines, all right? So my entry line at the price, my stop loss, and my take profit. And this is a short position. You can see right here as well, side short. And if you click on play, you will see the chart moving from the time I've placed my trade to now. So that was pretty much nothing. That was 2 hours to 4 hours only, because I've just posted on it. But you can see it right here, the strategy name I've used, the side, the entry, stop loss, take profit, the risk reward this trade is giving to us, the reason why, and then some strategy overview, risk management, and then, just join the journey with me. So really, really nice. You can come here any day of the week, and this will be here. Right? So let's say I want to do a long USD JPY. Let's see if I got this trade right. I didn't. So I got stop loss on this trade, 1% stop out. Yeah, 1% stop out, and that's completely fine as well. All right. So it's all here every day. Now, coming back to charts, let's have a look on euro dollar first. Perfect. Now, it's very clear for me that euro dollar has to close this gap. All right. Very, very clear for me. So I'm not looking to trade anywhere until we close this gap. I could be even trading, to short this until here. But I think it's maybe very risk at the moment. All right. So yes, we are at some consolidation on the 50-minute at this moment, as we can see right here. Right. So most likely, again, the market is awaiting, elections to start. So yeah, it's, I wouldn't be trying to chase this, fill it up off the pullback, but there is an opportunity. So my game plan for euro dollar is this will be the pair that we will have most of the volatility will happen here. All right, in my opinion. And I'm looking to long euro dollar in the long term. All right, 1.12 if Kamala Harris wins the election. If Donald Trump wins the election, then I'm looking to short euro dollar. Okay, until parity 1.00. And I already answer Satish questions. Then how to trade on election? Well, if Kamala Harris wins, I'm trading short on US dollar. If Donald Trump wins, I'm trading long on US dollar. Okay. Now, moving ahead, we have Aussie dollar as well. Aussie dollar seems pretty on the same scenario. We have this gap again, right, that we have to close, building some liquidity here, as some people like to call. I just don't believe on those things. But anyways, I think that we have a gap here, and the market has to come and close this gap. See, where is this? There we go. Close this gap here to the downside. So most likely we will continue to see, with RBA being very dovish, we will see this gap closing. But with the dovishness of the RBA, they still keep controlling the rates. But there was one thing that they haven't talked on that rate monetary policy, cutting the rates. So this will continue to maintain Aussie dollar very strong. Okay. So therefore, I'm looking to long Aussie dollar until somewhere around here when Kamala Harris wins election, let's say. Okay. If Trump wins election, then I'm trading short. And now I've just took as well the gold prices. I just choose gold as well because I think in such a uncertainty scenario, we should have some sort of stability, and gold could bring us some stability as we ask for in terms of commodity wise. And we can see that gold is continue and it's going up. So most likely we will see gold going higher than the all-time highs at $2,790.29, because of investors will be trying to cash in some sort of profits they've made until now this year. And therefore they will be looking to put in somewhere, and that somewhere is gold. And so there you have it. My portfolio, I'm long on gold, right? Just very clear here. Now, Sweet Say, are you guys working towards making Philogics an app? Actually, you can use on your mobile. All right. I would say to you, use on computer because it's better to draw and actually use the features. Because what you just show us is really cool. Yeah, it's really nice. Actually use it, go there, have a look, browse it out, use the charts. It's a good platform, man. Really nice. It's really like, it's very enjoyable to work with Finlogics. All right, guys. Now, time is up. Thank you so much for coming. Hope everyone have a beautiful week ahead. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, right? So I will send the link on the Telegram. Hopefully I could generate some sort of value for everyone. Now just going over everything again here. So RBA has paused the rates. What it means for the Australian dollar, it means some sort of bullishness, because we don't have RBA talking about cutting the rates, right? They've paused the rates again, but they haven't cut the rate, and they're not talking about cutting the rates. They're talking about bringing inflation down, and that means maintaining the rates in restrictive levels, right? NFP surprises everyone with the 12,000 addition jobs, expected to be 113,000, so 111,000 below what was expected. How will this influence the US dollar? Very, very bearish. Okay, we saw this big gap already. NFP did as well, added the pressure for opening the Monday morning with a lower price and a huge gap on the US dollar. Elections coming up, who will win? I think Kamala Harris will win, and this would be really bad for the US dollar, but everything can change. As I say, this is purely statistical. I'm working, right? And euro dollar, I would be long. Aussie dollar, I would be long. And gold dollar, I would be long. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great week ahead, and I see you tomorrow, and I see you Thursday, and ciao.